Welcome back. We got another game of Age of Empires 2 here. We have a team battle. I'll go ahead and introduce these players uh, as we get started here. I'll actually speed it up a bit. So we'll start with Team 2. First, we have El Greeno 4 in the green playing as the Persians. His teammate, named Satchel in light blue, playing as the Franks. Named Satchel typically is very good in his economy, so we'll expect to see him uh, really get his economy started early and quickly be on the top of the leaderboard. Switching to uh, Team 1 now. In the yellow, JKC 2000 playing as the Huns. Uh, a newer player has been playing really well lately. Uh, Playing as the Huns doesn't have to build any houses, so that typically can boost your economy really well. We'll see how he does in this game. And then his teammate in the purple, playing as the Khmer. We have Goober Nugget, one of the players that if you let him go for too long in the game, you're eventually going to lose. You're not going to be able to stop him. So really not much you can do in the late game if he can get his footing. Basically the opposite of green. Really wants to do things early. But if you can stop whatever he throws at you early, you should be able to defeat him in the late game. So this will be a really interesting matchup, especially with Goob and Green on the same side, and then Satch and Jay Casey on the other side. So really looking forward to this one. We'll see how this progresses. We'll look back at Satchel's economy. Again, does really well, especially in the early game economy. Is able to quickly economy boom, and a lot of times that translates into a lot of units getting out in the middle of the field early. So we'll see what happens here. So looks like green is first to the feudal age. Highly focused on food here in his economy, and then Satch not far behind him. Really well balanced, and then even getting a barracks out early, so we'll expect to see units there. One thing here, we had a few sheep on the outside of Goob's base. Looks like Green took his scout and took a few of those sheep and just sent them to Satch. Now we have Goob up to feudal, building some houses here. Really in a good spot. Really like his situation. He's got all three of his golds towards the back of his base, away from green, and then a wood line extremely close on both sides to his town center. I assume he'll be able to take advantage of both wood lines eventually. Right off the bat, you have Jay Casey getting walls up, getting a gate up, kind of in an awkward situation with multiple pathways, it looks like, to Satch. So I'm hoping that's not a pathway, but this one here and then another choke point here you would have to take care of in an extremely thin wood line. But in his point of view, doesn't see anything yet. Maybe could see that Boar is dead here, so it might think that Satch is coming out with an early push. Cautious scouts in the lone choke point here on the right side. Looks like Green will try to wall up here and get some gates up for him. He does advance to the castle age first. We'll see if he's able to take advantage of that, build a castle, and start pushing Goob. A really deep market. Wow, for Team 1, that's going to be a lot of gold production, assuming it doesn't get interrupted at any point. And then we have Goob up to the castle age as well. So this, and here comes Goob with the wall. This may be a hot spot for sure. Green already with a barracks, and then an archery range. For Persians, since one of their unique techs is that they can build archers for only wood, so it doesn't cost any gold. It's just wood. I would expect green to lean on the archers and lean on the archer benefits. Meanwhile, an army finding the walls from Satch. But like I was saying, I expect him to go up to archers pretty quick and do everything in the early game to benefit his archers later. Probably build several town centers just to have all the villagers immediately sent to the wood line. So that could be huge in getting a lot of units out for green. Looks like you will get a few cav archers, actually. Not much you can do with that stone wall there, though. Double walled up here, about to be double walled up on the other side. Curious to see if Satch will be able to do anything with his army here. Looks like mostly men-at-arms and scouts. Really critical that JKC had walls here, although he does have some army to defend. If Satch were able to get that army in early, that could have been a big problem. Double castles. So just as we expected, this is going to be a really congested area. You can already see the crossbowmen coming in for green. Meanwhile, the barracks are getting built for Goob. So this is going to get pretty deadly pretty quick. We'll try to get out of the castle fire. Is green. We'll check on Satch's economy. Again, doing really well. Even able to get a market way off. Green not doing as well. Really focusing on gold until he can get that unique tech for the wood only archers. This castle is in range of the stone wall, so he'll slowly try to knock that down. Looks like another castle's coming in for green. Meanwhile, Goob building the ballista elephants. So essentially mounted scorpions. We'll see what that can do for him as these troops start to get built up for green. Still a lot of defense for JKC, and even has several troop types out. So really an uncounterable massive army. Meanwhile, Satch building up something similar, and actually will introduce mangonels to the group. If he's able to get through these walls in some way, we could have a huge clash between these two. More ballista elephants. Looks like Stonewall is open, so really just a matter of time. Let's see if El Green is producing anything out of these castles yet. Doesn't look like it. But the castles will continue to fire. Second castle up for Goob. With the ballista elephants moving around, he'll also wall around the castles. Army starting to move up. Let's see where Satch takes these. Could potentially, with the mangonel, cut down some trees. Again, a really thin wood line between these two. Really could easily break through anywhere. We'll see if he decides to do that. We do have war elephants now coming out for green. Strongest unit one-on-one in the game, but extremely expensive. So Makes sense that he would have so many on gold and quite a few farms now. He is up to a third town center. But again, long term, he's going to want to have wood uh, to build those archers. For Goob, looks like he's really thinking ballista elephants. They could take care of a large mass of armies really well. We'll have to see if they get a chance to show their worth here. Green also creating petards and storing them in the castle, so eventually we would see those. I would assume they'd come out to the one of Goob's castles. Meanwhile, the army's still searching for a way through for Satch. Let's see if he takes these mangonels, maybe tries to cut down in this the thinnest area here. That would absolutely be a surprise, but I take that back. JKC walling up below that point. So even if Satch does get through here, we'll immediately see walls, but will still be hard to defend as most of his troops are on this side. Looks like a distraction coming in from this way from Satch. We'll see if these crossbowmen open the gates for him. Looks like they'll just shoot from the outside. Goob and Green did make Imperial Age, so Trebuchets coming out. First shot fired. Here come the Ballista Elephants. Really need to take care of those Trebuchets. But here come the Petards. Not going to do much. Looks like only 2 actually made it to the castle, but the real key here is the Trebuchet fire. Looks like JKC was able to deter the attack from Satch. Still hanging here with the mangonels. Not sure if looks like a town center coming into this area. He's really expanding. We'll see what happens there. The siege elephants, the ballista elephants, not doing as well against the trebuchets. Really not meant for taking down these trebuchets, and then the war elephants really unbothered will easily take down the ballista elephants. Now you have a problem. You have trebuchets out now. 4 trebuchets out for Green with elephants, and looks like he's starting to build more archery ranges. So really not looking good for Goob. He'll need to come back with a counter here. Looks like he is starting to build pikes, and of course he has the barracks, and is continuing to build more barracks to supply those pikes. Will be his best defense against the war elephants. Petards are losing petards. They will take out 2 pikes. I guess that's about as much as Green could have hoped for in that situation, but several trebuchets now. And here come the archery ranges. So about to see a huge push of arbalesters, and this could be really dangerous for Goob. And here comes the fire on the next castle. He'll build another right behind it. Production-wise for Goob, really doing well again. Probably getting a lot out of the positioning of the markets. But the pressure from the elephants really is hurting Goob here, even with all the pikes. Trebuchets under their own castle protection are going to be really hard to defend. Especially with the crossbowmen coming behind. So we'll keep an eye on this. Looks like Trebuchet's coming out still. But Goob really in trouble here as the mass starts to build for Green. Really smart in building pikes here, but if you have crossbowmen in the back, they're not going to last very long. So we'll see how this looks like. They are going to come out with the first interaction. And wow, so JKC with Tarkins out. These are going to be extremely strong against the crossbowmen. If he can get those to the crossbowmen, they'll do extremely well. They really don't want to work with the elephants at all, but looks like they can get around the elephants and take out pretty much any crossbows in their way. Now making it all the way to the trebuchets. Green, who originally thought that this would be a great push, now is reduced to almost nothing, and is just hoping the cannon fire from the castles with his unique tech is going to clear out these Tarkins. Really can't do much else, even allowing Goob's pikemen to really do some damage here. So huge push from JKC. Again, since he's walled up, he's able to send troops and help his teammate out quite a bit. He'll continue to build a extremely diverse army of units here. We can go back. Let's see. Still has the mangonels here for Satch. Not sure if we'll see them try to break through, but he does go up to the Imperial Age, so might see some trebs behind. So after that, Goob and Green will try to build up their armies again. And again, if you're Goob, it's smart to build all these pikes, really good against the elephants, but are really going to struggle against the crossbowmen that are coming out now for Green. Trebuchet fire, continuing to add elephants to this as well. Goob will come out with more trebs, and we'll essentially have a treb war here. Still not seeing any pressure up here. We'll see even more stone walls. Just an unreal amount of stone walls. Does not want Satch to mess with them at all. The key here, though, is even though JKC is so protected with all the gates, means that he can just go through whenever he wants. So Satch, even though doing extremely well in economy, we'll have to worry about that later, I'm sure. Looks like Green moves in with the war elephants, I'm sure, feeling the pressure from the trebs. Pikes easily take care of the elephants, but now we have crossbowmen versus the pikes. Not a good matchup for Goob. Will it be enough, though, to keep Green there long enough for these Tarkins again from JKC to come in and disrupt everything? Trebuchets being set up. We'll go into another treb war, and the Tarkins come in to clear up the crossbowmen. So this position being extremely advantageous for JKC, able to send troops as he pleases to help out his teammate, has really been key in this battle. More trebs. Looks like 3-3 trebs right now, but the Tarkins really messing things up for Green. Looks like he is starting to switch his economy to heavy wood production, and with all of these archery ranges, I'm sure he'll be able to get a constant flow of crossbowmen out. Continues to build trebuchets as well. Meanwhile, JKC did bring his troops up, so we will have a battle here. Satch has the line of castles, hopefully, to defend this area. But the trebs now, the mangonels are now attacking trade cards, so we'll even get notifications on Green's end that his trade carts are being attacked, so that's some pretty heavy pressure. Several different troops out for JKC, who again is really untouched and will be able to build more to send out later. Treb war continues. Several trebs out now for Green. Goob will build his own and hopes to keep Green away. Hand cannons could be a good option here. Unfortunately, the numbers would not play in his favor. So many crossbowmen now coming from green. Goob really won't be able to keep up with this production. But it looks like the pikemen that he built earlier convinced green to, for the most part, stay away from the war elephants. And now you have JKC with troops in the base of Satch, causing lots of problems. Satch will come out with the throwing axemen, the unique unit of the Franks. Frank Knights are extremely strong. They're going to do very well against these crossbowmen. But again, the Tarkans are really going to be a problem for Satch if he allows them to stick around. Also has two-handed swordsmen just roaming about his base. Really problems in every direction for Satch. Meanwhile, Treb War continues. So many Trebs now for green, but Goob has played amazingly well and has been able to hold him back. Really, green has not been able to advance much at all. Green hoping this time that no Tarkans will come in from JKC. Looks like he has some time now to try and attack. Looks like he will set up these Trebs, just trying to tear down the archery ranges. Of course, the counter to these crossbowmen is going to be the skirmisher, so if he's able to take down these archery ranges, that'll be huge for him. These, even though these are looks like two-handed swordsmen, just due to the numbers of these crossbows, they're not going to be able to do much. But it looks like the Tarkans are going to come in. Again, being a cavalry unit allows them to get to the battle even quicker, and it's going to come just in time for Goob. I'm sure he's extremely thankful if those are coming through. Again, crossbows really are not going to be able to do anything with these Tarkans. Let's see if green notices this. Yeah, not happy about that at all. He'll lose all these crossbowmen. Still have units messing with Satch. Looks like it cleared this entire wood line. I don't think there are any villagers in this town center. He is producing throwing axemen though, but again, pressure really needs to be applied by Satch. Looks like he's trying to get through these stone walls. I mean, there's just so many to deal with here. The Tarkans really doing well again against these crossbowmen. Skirmishers adding a lot of help there, and these Trebs are going to start going down to the Tarkans. With so much defense and so much time to build all these troops, Satch is forced to retreat. Really can't do much in this situation. Not to mention he's got units in his base still that really he can't deal with. So he's losing production while trying to send his troops forward. Has a good amount of troops, but really can't do anything because of all the defense from JKC. Green pushed all the way back to the castles again, just hoping that the castle fire will keep him protected long enough to build up another mass of crossbowmen. You got to wonder what he can go to next. I mean, do you go back to the elephants? Do you try to build Trebs again and see if that'll work? One thing is for sure, though, he will be creating crossbowmen constantly. Now for Goob, the elite battle elephant. Again, the numbers are really going to hurt Goob here, but having a strong unit, a really tough unit like these battle elephants are going to help a lot. he's actually going to come back and start building some siege, it looks like. Meanwhile, another group from JKC has come out, and it's causing problems for Satch. This is not good for Satch. I mean, you got to ask, where's the production going to come from at this point for Satch if he loses this section? And it looks like there's really just not much left he can do. He has armies moving around. He's going to give it one last go on the other side of Goob. So maybe the thought process there is if Team 2, if Green and Satch can take care of Goob, maybe Satch can regroup under Green and then essentially be a 2-on-1 against JKC, who is in the lead on the leaderboard now and really has enjoyed a fairly stress-free game at this point and is able to build so many different kinds of troops. He sees the troops coming in from Satch. Looks like he'll try to chase him down, but again, Satch really has no production left, so this will be the last stand for him. Looks like he's trying to build it back up, but I fear it's too late. He does come in. Huge help on Goob. This will be extremely stressful for Goob. But it looks like we may have some groups coming in. Here are more Tarkans with some crossbowmen from JKC. So Elite War Elephants coming out now for Green, as well as another area, looks like, for castles and archery ranges. Scorpions should be fairly good against these crossbowmen. Let's see if they'll make much damage. Really want to avoid the Elite War Elephants, though. So it looks like if Green was able to mix the War Elephants and the Trebs, he'd be able to do a lot better. But really has just been doing one at a time to combine with these crossbowmen, and has given Goob a chance to react, or for him to wait long enough for JKC to come in, which looks like he will do again. And now with the throwing axeman from Satch, he's got a few knights in there as well. If he loses this band, that's really all he's got left. Again, trying to build up the economy again after the continuous pressure from JKC, but looks like these troops at some point will just make their way down there. There's really not much he'll be able to do. Even has some of JKC's troops coming in, chasing the trade carts. More castles, more caravanserais, if that's how you say it, production buildings. So Green hoping to get one good push on Goob, try to end it here with the Trebs. That could do a lot. He still has War Elephants out here, but again, with the help from JKC now, doesn't look like he's going to be able to completely wipe out Goob. Builds the Trebs, continues with the crossbows, continues the production, has more castles, more archery ranges now, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to be enough unless he can do it now before anything from JKC comes. And just like that, here come more Tarkans. JKC now trebbing the castles, has Tarkans running around. And if you're Satch, really not anything else you can do at this point. Just out of production. A Mangonel, a good idea here, but really not enough to contend with the numbers from JKC, who has production everywhere. He'll continue to send Tarkins now down to Goob, and with these Tarkins now through the crossbowmen, now to the Trebs. If you're green, what do you come back with? You know your crossbowmen are you're gonna be able to build those in mass, but against the Tarkins, not gonna be able to do anything. So you can't defend your Trebs. That's a huge waste of resources there, losing all those Trebs. And now you're having to look at other unit options just to handle the Tarkins. So he will switch to elite elephants again, but will it be enough at this point? Looks like Goob did really well actually to survive. Still has production in some areas. May possibly even be moving back towards JKC. And even still has troops on the field, so Satch and Goob basically out of the game now. You really can't catch up at this point with troops in your base and no production at home. But Goob, because of the Tarkins themselves, is able to stop the bleeding and try to regroup. So a big push with Tarkins and Scorpions. We'll see what the elite elephants can do here. Unfortunately, it is under fire of the Persian castles. Elite elephants do well against the Tarkins. Can they make one last push though, and try to end this? Looks like Goob is going to try to move back into JKC's base. And now here come the Tarkins from the west. So finished up with Satch. Really nothing left for Satch. Yeah, he doesn't have anything at all. So JKC will be able to take his troops straight to El Green, and with no defense on this side, that's going to be a real problem. Looks like he's not even able to focus here, as the crossbowmen will walk through to their gather point and just be taken out before they even get there. El Green trying to continue the pressure on this side. The elite war elephants come through. One of the disadvantages of the elite war elephant is that it really wouldn't even be worth it to try to get them all the way up to the top of your base because they're so slow. So he'll continue to just leave them here. Let these troops do what they can. Can he get anything built up here, or will these Tarkins just completely take over with several more on the way? War elephants are really hard to deal with. Again, the strongest one-on-one unit, but very expensive. Usually don't see many of them at once. And the Tarkins basically don't take any damage to these crossbowmen, so Green will have to regroup and try to figure out what he can do. Tarkins from the other side now. Thankfully, the war elephants are already out here, but numbers-wise, this may still be a close battle if they do engage. Tarkins are creeping in now, trying to get Stonewall up. The army is at the door with Trebs. If he can get the Stonewall up, that might help him a bit. But actually, if you look here, he has no stone. Had no reason to mine for stone, and actually all the stone was mined out of his base anyway. And in the time trying to get to the market, looks like he bought some stone. It just wasn't enough to keep him out. And with those units coming in with the Trebs behind him, that's pretty much going to do it for Green, unless he can get some kind of maybe war elephants up to the top of the base. But again, this is not a good spot to be in for green. Goob rebuilding here, so even if he does survive, it would be a pretty clear 2-on-1. And war elephants down here, they may try to go up and defend, but are busy here. And now the Tarkans are rooting the production now for green, so starting to snowball. Looks like green was able to build closer to the back, but again, this is pretty much it for him. Tarkans will start to get even back to the wood line, so with all these units tied up down south, that doesn't look like there's much else that can be done. Looks like he's trying to maybe pressure JKC. You could get in a situation where you essentially trade spots basically, and ruin each other's base and basically start over. But I don't think that green will be able to get all the way over there and be able to deal with everything that JKC already has at home, especially with Goob now starting to build up again with some units of his own. JKC, not much at home, but again, really doesn't need it. He's got everything trying to end green here and being extremely successful. War elephants are trying to creep up. Some of the archery ranges even are going down now, so not looking good at all for green, especially with the bulk of his army so far away now. Does have some production still, but again, not where it needs to be. As the Tarkans take out the last two town centers. War elephants will take the gate, maybe try to apply some pressure, but that's really your last hope here. Tarkans versus war elephants. War elephants will take that battle, but again, it's too little, too late. There goes the last town center for green, so production is basically gone. You have a few of the caravanserai buildings still up and producing. I believe he had another up here. Yeah, he did. So still getting some production, maybe just enough to keep your war elephants or maybe some of these crossbowmen being produced, but he'll resign there, and that'll be it. A crazy game. Take a look at the map here. So MVP of the game wound up being JKC. Him being able to wall up and just be untouched all game really won the game for him. Did well at home. Again, had no struggles at home, and was even able to help Goob out when he needed it. Really the game-saving play is sending Tarkans in to deal with all the crossbowmen that green was sending towards Goob. Keeping Goob alive, even when Satch sent his own armies down to try and take Goob. Really a crazy game here. Looks like Goob would have survived on if the game had continued. So let's look at the stats here. Yeah, military, no surprise. JKC and economy um, really just had his way, could do whatever he want there. I assume a lot of that score on the economies, or excuse me, the military side is because he killed so many. Yep, and lost so few. So crossbowmen going down to the Tarkans, lots of numbers there. Um, took Satch's base, so raised a lot of buildings there. Had a huge army at one point of so many different unit types. Economy-wise, did really well. Led in almost every every resource except for wood. Of course, green going for the wood, trying to get that continuous flow of crossbowmen out. Technologies, green went up pretty quick in feudal and castle age, uh, and actually Goob and green went up to imperial age about the same time. That's what led to that Treb War. And then from a society perspective, green had several. I think he had 4 town centers actually, and he uh, was able to produce so many villagers. Again, most of them going straight to the wood line. Look at the timeline. Yeah, so really, right when Green was able to boom was right when Satch sent his last army out, and it just wasn't enough to take Goob. Jay Casey coming in, saving Goob, and that really was the turning point of the game right there. Really a fun game. I enjoyed spectating this one. Here's a look at the total score again. So I appreciate y'all joining, and uh, watch out for another team battle.